Mm-hmm.
Why is Prevent important?
It's not.
Prevent is an important part of the UK's counter-terrorism strategy because
It
it
isn't.
seeks to tackle extremist behaviour as it emerges
No, it
instead of
doesn't.
after an attack. It
It's fucking
acknowledges that
useless.
underlying issues and vulnerabilities play a role in extreme ideas and behaviours and wants to reduce the effects that push someone into extremism.
Today's reaction video will be covering green and pleasant content. We'll be discussing Pathways and their online game that aims to tackle right-wing politics, aimed at our children paid for by us, the British taxpayer. This was introduced in Hull under a Labour local council. This video was an emotional one to make. As a father, it hits very close to home. It's paramount for the next generation to be protected, heard and allowed to thrive. It is our responsibility to be that voice and advocate for them. Please share this content.
January 2016, a 4-year-old boy drew a picture of his dad cutting a cucumber. His nursery heard
Dangerous.
cooker bomb. He was referred to the government's counter-terrorism programme. He was 4. He was drawing vegetables. That same programme, Prevent, assessed a teenager called Axel Rudakabana on 3 separate occasions, looked at him 3 times and said, no, he's fine. He went on to murder 3 little girls in Southport with a kitchen knife he'd bought on Amazon. Police found homemade ricin.
You sound reliable already.
Enough for over 1,000 lethal doses. And in the year that programme was clearing a future mass murderer, it also found time to refer 345 children under the age of 10 to count.
Why are they referring children to a counter-terrorism program? Is it a counter-terrorism program? Or are they just pushing ideas onto your kids without your say-so? I don't know.
Counter-terrorism. 345 under 10. So today we're going to go through the numbers because the government funded a video game that teaches your kids worrying about immigration makes them a terrorist.
I like video games.
The game's villain became the biggest right-wing meme of the year, with Elon Musk sharing her, and actual cryptocurrency coins launched in her name.
Media.
And the game got pulled offline within a week. And that's barely even the start, because right now, on BBC One, there's a primetime drama where a man gets flagged as a terrorist for filing freedom of information requests. The BBC made that.
It's dangerous.
With your
Don't do that.
license fee. So let's look at where this system actually points and what it's supposed to be watching instead. Right, let's start with the numbers because they're worse than you think. Prevent is the government's counter-radicalisation programme, been running since 2003. And in the year ending March 2025, it received a record 8,778 referrals, the highest since records began.
That's a lot.
Now, of those cases that actually got adopted for intervention, the Channel programme, where they sit you down and try to de-radicalise you,
You've got to de-radicalise people.
were for extreme right-wing concerns, 15% for Islamist extremism.
That's weird.
42% right-wing, with 15% for Islamists. Now, compare that with MI5's actual counter-terrorism caseload.
Yeah, let's do that.
75% Islamist, 25% everything else. 94% of every person killed by terrorism in Britain since 1999 was killed by Islamist terrorism.
So 94% was Islamic terrorism. So they must be making a program that's going to fix that. A program that's going to speak to the young British Arabic ethnics and stop them from being radicalized from outside influences like imams, social media, anything that's going to get in there and twist the ideology and push jihadi agendas. So this program's going to be great. I can't wait to see how they're going to fix that problem. It's going to be good.
But the programme designed to catch these people early spends nearly 3 times the effort looking at the right wing. And this wasn't some secret. The government's own reviewer said it out loud. William Shawcross, the independent reviewer of Prevent, published his report in February 2023. 34 recommendations, all accepted by the government. And he was blunt about it. He said Prevent had defined the extreme right wing too broadly, pulled in the respectable right and centre-right, whilst applying much narrower criteria to Islamist extremism. Suella Braverman stood up in Parliament and called it a bogus equivalence, said it plainly, while obscuring the Islamist threat, Prevent had cast the net so wide on the right that ordinary political opinion was getting swept up. Chris Philp called it a national security failure, which, given the numbers, feels like an understatement. But the referral numbers are just the mechanism. Wait until you see what they actually built with your money to fix this supposed problem. So, the Home Office, through Prevent, funded a video game. I'm sure you've all heard of it by now. It was called Pathways, Navigating Gaming, the Internet
Yeah, I want to play
and
it. We're going to play it
Extremism.
later. I'm going to
Developed
play
by
it.
a company called Shoutout UK in partnership with Hull City Council and East Riding of Yorkshire Council. Made available to
Ooh.
schools in June 2025.
I think when this was made, it was actually a Labour council at the time. So it's, yeah, should be interesting. Because they're not woke and they don't push liberal agendas. Like, the union and the schools.
Aimed at 11 to 18-year-olds.
It's gonna be
The
good.
idea was simple enough. Teach kids to recognise extremist radicalisation. Except the game focused entirely on right-wing radicalisation.
Oh, why did it do that?
Islamist, not left-wing, just right-wing. Despite MI5 saying 75% of their workload is Islamist terrorism.
It's weird.
You played a character called Charlie, referred to exclusively
be
with
Charlie.
they/them pronouns, regardless of which gender you picked, by the way. Both players
A little bit
were
woke.
white. Right, so this is how it worked. Your choice
So not only is the schools pushing this agenda into your kids, pushing a bit of LGBT wokeness in there as well. And you're paying for it out of your tax money.
choices were
Right.
colour-coded. Red meant bad, green meant good. Questioning immigration policy.
Okay.
Red, naughty boy. Research.
Bad.
Oh, sorry.
Don't do
Not
that.
boy, is it? It's the other one. Naughty.
What is it?
It. Researching
Okay.
immigration statistics.
Uh-huh.
That literally increased your in-game extremism meter.
But you're
Looking up
clearly an
numbers
extremist.
Published by the government's own Office for National Statistics. Made your character more of an extremist.
Yeah, how dare
apparently.
you?
Most paths through the game ended the same way. Your
Okay.
teacher refers you to Prevent, and you go through counselling to learn the difference between right and wrong in expressing political beliefs. State-funded re-education in a video game for children. Just a minute. Pretty sure I've seen this somewhere in here. Yeah. That sounds familiar. Now, the game
Sounds a bit
had
communist.
villain, and this is where the whole thing falls apart in the most spectacular way possible. The antagonist was a character called Amelia, purple-haired goth girl from Bridlington,
She's hot.
East Yorkshire.
I like her.
She complains that migrants are taking local jobs and tries to recruit you into anti-immigration activism. The
Okay.
developer, Matteo Bergamini, said her appearance was not particularly significant.
Okay.
It was wrong about that one. On the 9th of January this year, the Daily Telegraph ran an expose. Within hours, someone posted Amelia as a meme on X. That single post got over 1.4 million views. And then it went completely sideways. AI-generated videos appeared showing Amelia walking through Parliament, declaring her love for England, wearing ICE uniforms, fighting in historic British battles, hugging Paddington Bear. Elon
want
Musk
Amelia.
shared her. Tommy Robinson posted videos of her. Two
Okay.
separate cryptocurrency meme coins were launched in her name. By the 14th of January, the game was dead, stuck on an infinite loading screen. Pulled offline.
no.
One viral post summed it all up.
It
You
is
may
back though,
kill
and
one
we are gonna
Amelia,
play it.
but 1,000 Amelias will rise. That post alone got 192,000 views. CNN ran it, France 24 ran it. Brussels Signal called it a PR disaster. A woke anti-racism campaign spawns right-wing icon. The government spent taxpayer money building a game to teach children that worrying about immigration is extremism. And they accidentally ran the most effective right-wing recruitment campaign in British history. You genuinely
Love it.
could not make this up if you tried.
Love it.
So that's the video games. But the BBC, they had their own plan, and somehow it's even
What was
more
their
on the
big plan?
nose. Right now on BBC One, as you're watching this, there's a drama called The Capture. Third series.
Oh, is it good?
Premiered the 8th of March. It's a thriller about surveillance and counter-terrorism. First two series were decent, deep fakes, CCTV manipulation, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes for Series 1. Series 3, Episode 3, aired on the 22nd of March, a couple of days ago, introduced a new character, James Whitlock, played by Joe Dempsey. Gendry from Game of Thrones, if that helps. And his path to radicalisation, his origin story as a terrorist, according to the BBC, begins with filing 9 Freedom of Information requests. 9 FOIA requests
Disgusting.
to the Home Office made during a prison sentence,
Disgusting.
asking about government concealment of the true statistics on undocumented migrants.
It looks like Whitlock got hold of those Home Office documents via Freedom of Information requests.
Oh, shit.
He made a total of 9 requests during his time in prison.
Shit, get
Counter-terrorism
him.
officers at
Get him.
SO15 treat this with visible alarm. They
Yeah.
also flag his deactivated 4chan account as a concern. The character then delivers a monologue about land invasion and immigrants.
Last land invasion of England was yesterday morning at 9:45 when a boat carrying 40 undocumented male migrants landed in Dungeness, Kent.
And the episode ends with him peering through a rifle scope at an incoming migrant dinghy, targeting a mother and child in life jackets.
How did he find a dinghy with a woman and child in it? I've watched loads of dinghies, man. I've never seen that. This guy's elite.
Now, the reaction was about what you'd expect. Zia
Okay.
Youssef, chairman of Reform UK, said, "Sending Freedom of Information requests to the Home Office does not make you a terrorist. It makes you a highly useful citizen." Nick
All right.
Dixon called it insane propaganda. Darren Grimes called it the BBC's latest high-budget fantasy. Ben Leo on GB
Well, it
News
is
called
fantasy.
hilarious propaganda and
There's a
told
woman and
people to
child in the
cancel their
dinghy.
license fee. Of course, the BBC's official response was one sentence: "This is a fictional drama, and the character of James Whitlock is not based on any individual person." That was all they said, just a sentence. The show's creator, Ben Channon, whom employs a former counter-terrorism advisor on his research
I don't
team,
fund this
told
bullshit.
Radio Times
I don't have a
thought
TV
people were
license.
obsessed with the subject of immigration, which is an interesting way to describe the #1 concern of the British public. We'll get to that. Oh, and one more thing. GB News pointed out that the episode aired the same week officials were reportedly considering clamping down on the FOI system itself, filing a Freedom of Information request. The thing democratic governments are legally obligated to respond to
Yeah.
is now a terrorism origin story on the BBC, funded by your license fee. Oh,
Not
and this
mine.
sits alongside Channel 4's track record. Their UKIP, the first 100 Days mockumentary in 2015, ex-soldiers hunting immigrants under a UKIP government, got over 5,000 Ofcom complaints on one of the most complained about broadcasts of the year. Their Go Back to Where You Came From in 2025 lost a third of its audience by the finale and got cancelled. Schools run by the Orion education chain were reported teaching students that Reform UK is normalising far-right views. The National Education Union branded Reform far-right and racist.
This is a big point because schools and their unions, this has been coming up a lot. There's recent stuff about this as well. We'll get into that in another video. But yeah, they're crossing lines. They've been crossing lines for a long time. It's about time people start speaking about it.
Union, where 85% of members vote left and 37% vote green. Right, so they've got the video games, they've got the BBC dramas, they've got the schools. Now,
Right.
let's look at what they should have been paying attention to. And I need to warn you, this next bit is a bit difficult. While the state was building video games and referring toddlers to counter-terrorism, something was happening across
Did you use
dozens of
tax
British
money?
towns that would become one of the worst child protection failures in this country's entire history. In Rotherham alone, at least 1,400 children were sexually exploited between 1997 and 2013. Professor Alexis Jay's report documented children as young as 11 raped by multiple men, trafficked between towns, abducted, beaten. Children doused in petrol and threatened with being set alight. Children threatened with guns. Children forced to watch violent sexual assaults on other children. Telford, over 1,000 children across 3 decades. Rochdale, Oxford, over 370. Huddersfield, where 42 men were convicted and 20 sentenced to a combined 221 years. Cases documented in over 40 towns and cities across the country. And there's no national total because nobody collected the data. And the response from
cared.
the people whose job it was to protect these children? Police in Rotherham treated the victims with contempt, described what was happening to them as a lifestyle choice, called them slags. Officers arrested fathers who went to the houses where their daughters
How
were
dare
being
they?
abused, trying to get them out. One father was told the town would erupt if it became known that South Asian men were involved. Anne Cryer, Labour MP for Keighley, raised the alarm in 2002. She was dismissed as Islamophobic. Sarah Champion, a Labour MP for Rotherham, wrote in
This is the point. This is the point. You can't even speak about the welfare of the children. Your children are being indoctrinated in the schools. They're pushing their agendas, and parents aren't allowed to speak. The MPs aren't allowed to speak. No one's allowed to speak. Who is running this? Why?
2017 that Britain has a problem with British Pakistani men
All of them being
exploiting
woke?
white girls. She was forced to resign as Shadow Minister for Women and Equalities for just saying what the evidence showed. A Channel 4 documentary about the abuse in Bradford was postponed in 2004 over fears it could lead to race riots. The documentary was delayed. The abuse was not. And then the Casey audit, published June 2025. Baroness Casey confirmed what the victims had said for decades. She found the ethnicity of perpetrators had been shied away from with institutional obfuscation. She found a case file where the word Pakistani had been physically Tipexed out, whited out of the record. Her key finding, assertions that the majority of child sexual abuse offenders are white, were, at best, misleading. The data used to make that claim was flawed, and it had been
It's a
used
cultural
repeatedly
concern.
to dismiss what was actually happening. It took Elon Musk posting 51 times about the scandal, posts seen 1.5 billion times in total, calling Starmer utterly despicable and complicit in the rape of Britain, to finally force a...
Why does it take the freedom of speech of Americans to come all the way over here to help us out to do the job? Where's our voice? Why aren't we speaking up? Why are we sitting back and watching this happen? Well, I say watching it happen, obviously it's being covered up. It's being hidden, but why are we, why are people in positions of power watching it and letting it be covered up? Why aren't they? I don't know.
National Statutory Inquiry, announced June 2025, chaired by Baroness Anne Longfield, terms of reference still being finalised as of this month, decades after the abuse began. And then we come to what happened in Southport, which broke every single assumption they'd built their narrative on. On the 29th of July 2024, 17-year-old Axel Mugawana Rudakabana arrived by taxi at the
Beautiful British name.
a community dance studio in Southport. He was carrying a kitchen knife he'd bought on Amazon 16 days earlier.
Right.
Inside was a Taylor Swift-themed yoga dance and bracelet-making workshop for children aged 6 to 11. He stabbed B.B. King 122 times.
Jesus.
She was 6. He stabbed Elsie Stancombe at least 85 times. She was 7. The pathologist found he had attempted to decapitate her. Alice Da Silva Aguiar, 9 years old, died in hospital the following day. 8 other children and 2 adults were injured. In custody, he said, "It's a good thing those children are dead. I'm so glad." Because he was 17, his identity was legally suppressed. Within hours, the false name, Ali al-Shakati, went viral. A fabrication that the attacker was a Muslim asylum seeker.
I recognise his face. I remember that being on placards outside Brook Hotel in Norwich. I remember people talking about it. It was one of the first protests we had at the Brook Hotel, I think. Well, not the first, but one of the first. I remember his face being on a placard.
Who'd arrived by boat. Police couldn't reveal the truth. The information vacuum triggered the worst social unrest in England since the 2011 riots. Protests and violence spread across Southport, Sunderland, Belfast, Plymouth, dozens of cities. By July 2025, 1,840 arrests had been made. The Prime Minister's response? "I won't shy away from calling it what it is, far-right thuggery." Before anyone knew...
He won't shy away from calling things what they are. Oh dear. Such a brave man.
who the attacker was. Before the facts were in, citizens were thugs. That was the official position. When reporting restrictions lifted, the reality was nothing like any narrative. Rudakabana was born in Cardiff. His parents were evangelical Christian Tutsi refugees from Rwanda, who'd lived in the UK since 2002. British citizen, no connection to Islam. But what police found in his bedroom was worse than anyone had assumed. A PDF of the Al-Qaeda training manual, homemade ricin in a lunchbox.
So Rwanda was a country that had a lot of African on African violence, crazy amount of violence, all machete related as far as I've seen. So it might have been an asylum seeker, his parents, I speculate. But he was found with ricin? What's
And
ricin?
his bunk bed, potentially yielding up to 1,269 lethal doses.
That's
A
a lot.
machete, arrows, documents about Nazi Germany,
From Rwanda.
the Rwandan genocide, and car bombs, material mocking Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. He pleaded guilty to all 16 charges in January 2025, sentenced to life, minimum 52 years, the longest sentence ever given to someone under 18
Good.
at the time of offence. And Prevent, the system
Don't know who
that
the judge is,
referred
but I'll
a
shake his hand.
4-year-old for drawing cucumbers, that flagged 345 children under 10 in a single year, had looked at Rudakubana 3 times
Oh,
and
did
let
they?
him go. The
Wow.
Al-Qaeda manual, the ricin, the obsessive violence, none of it was caught. They assessed him and cleared him 3 separate times. And then
Might be a
3
waste of
children
taxpayers'
died.
money.
So Prevent missed that repeatedly. But let's look at the broader picture they should have been worried about and the numbers behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Net migration to the UK peaked at 944,000 in the year ending March 2023. That number, by the way, was revised upward repeatedly. The original published figure was 606,000. Then 745,000, then 764,000, then 872,000, then 942,000. They kept getting it wrong in the same direction. And then there's the channel. Since 2018, approximately 196,589 people have crossed the English Channel in small boats. Of those, roughly 5,000 have been returned. That's about 3%. 97% are still here. The solution the last government came up with was the Rwanda deportation scheme. Cost
great, do it.
£715 million.
Send them.
Number of people actually
Send them
deported
all.
to Rwanda? 4. All of them volunteers. One was paid £3,000 to go. 715 million
Fucking
divided
hell.
by 4 is £178.75 million per person. For context, you could buy 715 houses in Rotherham for that money, or fund Prevent for about 50 years. They did neither. Starmer scrapped it on his first full day in office. Rwanda is now suing Britain at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague for over £100 million. During the entire time the scheme existed, 84,000 people crossed the channel anyway. The asylum system itself costs £4.7 billion a year. Hotel accommodation alone runs at £8.3 million per day. Asylum accommodation contracts, originally estimated at...
See, this is a big point. These are crazy figures. It's crazy money. Think what you can do in your community with this money. The jobs you can make. Energy infrastructure. You could do so much stuff. Bulk up the NHS. Wasting it on these fuckers. Why? Why? Nothing to do with us. Couldn't care less for them. Send them back.
$4.5 billion over 10 years are now projected at $15.3 billion. The contractors, Clear Springs, Mears and Serco collectively made £380 million in profit. And there are the cases, specific ones with names. Foreign nationals make up 12% of the UK prison population, 10,772 people. Albanian men are the single most overrepresented group. Roughly 1 in 36 Albanian men in the UK is in prison. That's 20 times higher than Germans or Italians. Their conviction rate between 2021 and 2023 was 30 times higher than British nationals.
Jesus.
Langaween Abdulramizai, Afghan asylum seeker, claimed to be 14, was actually around 18, placed with a care family and sent to a secondary school with children. What British authorities didn't know, because apparently nobody checked, was that he'd already been convicted of murdering 2 people in Serbia, shot them dead with a Kalashnikov. He then stabbed 21-year-old Thomas Roberts to death in Bournemouth.
See, this is the problem. You start being nice. You start being so liberal. And look what's happening. He's saying he's 14. He's thrown his passport away and he's killed 2 people in another country. He's killed 2 people. but he hasn't got a passport. They don't know who he is. So he comes in and they take his word for it, who he is. They give him a house. He's murdering people here. Why? Stop being so liberal. Say no. Say fuck off. Not that hard.
Life sentence, minimum 29 years. 2 Afghan unaccompanied minors, both 17, raped a 15-year-old girl in Leamington Spa in May 2025. Combined sentences over 20 years. Hadush Gerbeslassie Kabuti, Ethiopian, arrived by
Beautiful British name.
sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl near his asylum seeker hotel in Epping in July 2025. And then, and I promise this is real, he accidentally got released from prison in October instead of being transferred for deportation, given a £76
Useless.
discharge grant, and let go. Nationwide.
Useless.
And after all of this, all of it, you might wonder what the British people actually think. Because according to the government, caring about any of this makes you a potential extremist. That's right. So, after the grooming gangs, after Southport, after the Channel crossings, the crime cases, the billions spent on a system that deported 4 volunteers and accidentally released a sex offender, after all that, what do the British people actually think? YouGov, December 2024.
Detain, deport.
70% of Britons say immigration over the last decade has been too high. 70%. That's the highest since the tracker began. 50% said much too high. Only 15% said about right, and 3% too low. God, who are these 3%ers? Anyway, 43% said immigration
Blue hair and
had been
septum piercings,
mostly
if I had to
bad
guess.
for the country. Also a record, only 18% said mostly good, down from 29% in 2019. Immigration returns to the #1 issue facing the country last October.
Immigration has been the #1 issue for the last 3 elections. Every time election has come up, the party that was voted in was a party that said it would take the toughest stance on immigration. We left the EU, not because we didn't want to trade with them, because we were sick of taking the immigrants. We left the EU, we got a raw deal with trade, still taking the immigrants. Sorry, asylum seekers.
38% according to Ipsos, first time since 2016. On grooming gangs, 48% of Britons believe fear of being accused of racism was a major factor in why authorities failed to act. 7 in 10 believe ethnicity data should be collected for child sexual exploitation crimes. And by August 2025, 45% of the public supported admitting no new migrants at all and requiring large numbers of recent arrivals to leave. 45%, including, and this is the one that should give the Labour Party nightmares, 27% of Labour voters. So the majority opinion in Britain, the overwhelming majority, is apparently extremism. 7 in 10 people in this country would need a prevent referral. And that brings us to one man's journey through all of this, because it tells you everything. August 2024, Keir Starmer stands up after Southport and tells the country, I won't shy away from calling it is what it is. Far-right thuggery. Before the facts
I won't shy away from saying he's a useless cunt.
Who Rudy Kobana is. Citizens protesting, some violently, yes, but many peacefully, are far-right thugs. That's the label.
This is the face of the most useless, incompetent, pathetic leader I think we've ever had. I think he might actually be he might be one of the most useless men in politics ever. I might be wrong. I don't know.
1,840 arrests follow. May 2025, same man, same podium. Keir Starmer warns that the UK risks becoming an island of strangers and says high immigration has done incalculable damage. June 2025, he apologises. That phrase was...
Yeah, he did. He got in on the basis of he was going to deal with immigration. That's what he got in for. And as soon as he got the seat, he laughed in your face.
wasn't right, and I deeply regret using it. He apologised for saying what 70% of the country believes. He has never apologised for calling those same people far-right thugs. So this is where we are. A counter-terrorism programme that refers toddlers but clears future mass murderers. A taxpayer-funded video game that accidentally became a recruitment tool for the people it was meant to suppress. A BBC drama where democracy's most basic transparency mechanism is treated as a gateway to violence. Decades of industrial child abuse ignored because the wrong people might get offended. And a Prime Minister who called you a thug for caring, then briefly said what you were saying, then took it
Yeah.
back. The system built...
I think there's a lot of child abuse going on. I think what this whole leftist political movement is doing is child abuse. I think pushing this nonsense, this anti-British values, is child abuse. I think the teachers' union pushing these LGBT into the school system is child abuse. And I think the teaching union is planning on double down on it, if I'm not wrong. I think I read it somewhere recently. They're doubling down on it. They want people to be really afraid. They want sheep. And they're desperate to make it happen. No matter what you think as parents, they don't give a fuck what you think. Couldn't care less. As far as they're concerned, your kids belong to them. And they'll mould them into whatever citizen they want to mould them into.
to protect British citizens is structurally pointed at British citizens. The media reinforces it across your television, your children's schools, and their video games. And the public knows. 7 in 10 of them know. The question now is what changes? Because if the next Ruda Cabana is sitting in a prevent case file right now, being cleared for the 4th time, while a toddler gets flagged for mispronouncing a vegetable, that's not a policy failure. Someone's made a choice. If you think more people should see these numbers, you know what to do. And if it's the first time you've watched a video of mine,
I'll do something.
well, there's plenty more where this came from. So go ahead and subscribe. Leave all of your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you very much, brother. Green and Pleasant. Okay, thank you. A free youth-centered interactive learning package for education on extremism, radicalization, and prevent. Yes, please make sure I don't become a jihadi. Help me, please. Right. Navigating game in. No, yeah, got ya. Yeah, well, it's pathways. Yeah, you said this. Fuck it now. Oh, who's this? East Riding of Yorkshire Council. Hull City Council. I don't know what I was meant to say. SOUK. SOUK. I don't know. Fuck
In
knows.
this game, you will be presented with scenarios that require you to take action, like hearing something hateful while gaming or watching a provocative video on social media.
Okay.
From the 3 alternative options presented, you will use your mouse to select one based on the information given and what outcome you think this will have.
Okay.
The choices you make will determine the route your character takes. Remember to be aware of getting trapped in risky or harmful situations, as the different choices can lead to situations involving extremism and radicalization, damaging the outcome for your character.
Is that right? I'm going to be him. I'm going to be the boy. Because I'm a boy. Level 1.
Charlie was enjoying an online game with friends.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice.
Charlie had not long started attending a new college in East Riding.
Okay.
And they were so relieved to have made new friends having recently left school. Charlie has started browsing new games and websites that some of the new friends use.
Nice. Okay.
Sometimes, though, the people on these websites say things that seem off, even slightly concerning.
Kids saying things that seem off? Crazy. Crazy.
Someone on this website has encouraged Charlie to download a video, but Charlie is unsure.
Charlie sounds like a pussy.
How should Charlie react?
Your friends want you to download the video. You're going to know what's
Charlie
on it.
wanted to continue being part of their new online community.
Fucking right. I don't want to be lonely. Download a video. Shit. I downloaded a video. Oh, I'm an extremist. I'm borderline terrorist.
Charlie downloaded the video and shared it with different people online.
I didn't agree to that. I just downloaded it. You added sharing it. You're the terrorist.
Charlie felt relieved and happy that people were liking the video and also
Well,
sharing
that's
it.
good for him. Good for him.
Deep down, Charlie wasn't sure if this was the right thing to do, as some of the ideas in the video were extreme and violent.
Well, I never picked any. You picked this stuff for me.
It's important to remember that downloading or streaming certain content can lead to a terrorist offence conviction.
Under this government, yeah. 100%. They'll blame me for anything. Was that it? I didn't die? Okay, I'm still alive. Charlie lives.
Charlie is receiving an important grade on a piece of work they submitted for their hospitality course at college.
Yeah, I did good. Yeah, okay. Important grade. Yeah, I need that grade. I've lived the rest of my life in this future utopia in Britain that we're building.
Charlie put in a lot of effort for this work and is excited to receive good feedback.
Good on you, Charlie.
Charlie takes a seat in class and waits to get their grade.
Yeah.
To their disappointment, Charlie doesn't do as well as they expect. They got 60 out of 100 for their work, but they wanted at least 75 out of 100.
That's fucking bullshit.
To make matters worse, somebody else got 80 out of 100, and the teacher said that this person has received a job offer.
Fuck them.
Charlie has applied to dozens of jobs, but hasn't had any luck yet. Somebody else in the class tells Charlie that this is proof that immigrants are coming to the UK and taking our jobs.
Well, they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that. Oh, well, you don't read it out for me. Ignore the comment and ask the course leader for feedback about how you can improve. Yeah. Ignore the comment, but don't address your frustration. Agree with the comment and explore the ideas further. Do whatever you want, buddy. Who gives a fuck? You're free to do what you want. Explore it further. Why not?
Charlie approached the classmate angrily. He agreed with the ideas and began shouting about them in class.
Fuck you, take my job.
The teacher let Charlie know that the school has a zero tolerance on hate speech.
Fuck your school. I flunked anyway.
The teacher was concerned by Charlie's outburst and tried to get to the bottom of it. Charlie became more agitated and ended up having to sit alone for the duration of the week's lessons because of the hurtful things they said.
Bollocks.
Charlie has been chilling out all afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
They've been scrolling on social media.
Right.
They spot a video that seems to be getting a lot of attention. Charlie watches the video and learns from the video that Muslim men are stealing the places of British war veterans in emergency accommodation.
That's fucking bullshit. Why? Charlie, don't let this happen, bro.
In the video, they explain that the government is betraying white British people and we need to take back control of our country.
Well, it was true back then. It's still true back now. Yeah, engage in it.
Charlie couldn't believe what they were seeing.
I can't believe you're saying it. It's ridiculous.
Charlie immediately began typing comments and sharing the video with their friends and family, wondering what they could do to stop this.
Yeah. Yeah, stop that.
As the likes, comments and shares came in, They felt that they'd performed a patriotic service by standing up for veterans and white people's rights.
At what point am I doing something wrong? At what point? Am I meant to feel guilty at this point? Am I meant to feel bad? Charlie's white and proud.
Unfortunately, Charlie didn't realise that some of the groups they were engaging with online were actually illegal.
What were they, migrants? How were they illegal? Well, that was it.
Charlie has been enjoying a family dinner at home when they receive a notification from their friend.
This is the most bullshit bit of propaganda I think I've ever come across. I've never seen anything like this. Absolute horseshit. Whoever signed off on this being made has put one too much blue hair dye on their fucking head. It's seeping through to their brain.
Charlie's mum makes a comment about using ferns at the dinner table, but Charlie checks in anyway.
Yeah,
Amelia,
okay, Charlie.
Charlie's close friend, has made a video
She's hot.
encouraging young people in Bridlington to join a political group that seeks to defend English rights.
Who cares? I want to spend the day with Amelia.
Amelia encourages Charlie to join a secret group on an app Charlie hasn't heard of before. Charlie isn't sure whether to join, explore further, or ignore.
A secret app? Do they think young white British kids are joining secret apps? Even Islamist extremists that are doing their actions that have been highlighted across the nation, they don't even use secret apps. Everybody knows. What's this MI5 bullshit? Join the secret. How do you know it's secret? Yeah, I'm joining.
Charlie thought the
Double
video
down.
a friend posted was so funny. They couldn't believe how many likes Amelia's memes were getting. It was inspiring.
Good for me. I like it.
Charlie joined the secret group on this new platform. Their phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages of support and invitations to participate in several similar groups.
Cool.
Charlie's mum was not so pleased and grew suspicious of all this new activity their child seemed
What
to
the
be
fuck
involved
am my
in.
business? Now what?
Charlie was seeing their dad at the weekend. He lives in Hull, so their
Hull?
weekends look very different to their weekdays in East Riding.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Charlie's friend Amelia immediately looked interested and told them about a protest she wished she could go to herself, but was not
Right.
allowed.
Oh shit, sucks for her.
Amelia spoke of a gathering that had been organised by a small political group. They would come together and protest the changes that Britain has been through in the last few years and the erosion of British values.
Oh, that's not good.
Amelia talked about the banners and the pickets that her friends had made for the events and expressed a real regret that she could not go, begging Charlie to go in her place.
Okay.
Charlie has nothing to do this weekend, and a protest sounded like an interesting thing to take part in.
Okay. Well, I might as well stick to it now. I'm going all the way. I'm going all the way.
Charlie decided this would be a good use of their time, considering
I'm gaining
all the things
favour with
they'd seen
Amelia.
and heard over the last
I'm a
few
young
weeks.
teenage boy, so it's all good. What shit did she say? Yeah, whatever.
It would be good to express their feelings about it with like-minded individuals.
Am I allowed to do that? Is that legal?
They went home and made a banner to take with them to the protest.
Look at this. A sword on the flag. We've literally got people running around with hammer and sickles and jihadi banners. No one says a thing.
Charlie arrived at the protest and was swept up by the atmosphere. It was great
Yeah,
to
there's
see
an
so
atmosphere.
many people there.
It is.
Everything was going well until Charlie almost became involved in a fight by accident.
Shit happens.
The police saw they were part of a group and took their details.
Sounds about right.
Charlie was frightened by this, not knowing if their parents would be informed.
Yeah, Charlie might be a bit young to be getting involved in this sort of stuff. But that being said, though, how many times do they pull these kids into the leftist ideology? I mean, they love to do that, don't they? Anyway,
Charlie
how does it
thought
end?
about all the difficult choices they had needed to make in the last few weeks.
Cool.
Some of their choices had led to changes in friendship, and Charlie was feeling low, as they weren't sure if they had made the right decisions.
I don't know, mate. I don't know what decisions made.
The teacher had noticed this and decided to reach out.
Well, she already fucked you over with a grade.
The teacher sat with them and talked openly and frankly about the ideology that Charlie had discovered. The teacher reassured that Charlie had made the right decisions. Charlie realised that if they had chosen to engage with these harmful ideas, the consequences would have been very different.
Charlie made the right decisions. Charlie had a backbone. But is this how it was meant to end? I picked C on every single one. Whatever.
Charlie accepted they may need support.
I don't need support.
Charlie's teacher made a prevent referral, and they were able to provide tailored support for Charlie.
You're just going to beat the British out of him.
They began a workshop that helped them learn how to engage positively with ideology and the differences between right and wrong in expressing political beliefs.
Your beliefs, you have whatever beliefs you want.
Charlie received counselling to help them process the other events in their life, and they felt much better for it.
But I'm trying to think at what point here he's committed a crime. He's not committed a crime. I don't actually know what he's done wrong. I mean, at one point he had an opinion openly, and people felt a little bit, he's saying something that's a bit mean. What a waste of time this is. Congratulations on completing all the scenarios. Let's explore the consequences of your character's choices and see what lies ahead. Yeah, go on then.
Charlie was referred to Prevent and Channel.
These are the prevent terrorism people.
Charlie
Okay.
was assigned a mentor to help them one-to-one, someone who had been in their shoes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
They were reluctant at first, but gradually warmed to their mentor, forming trust with them, having heard and understood the similarities between them.
While children were being murdered by actual extremists, this is what they made. This is what they spent millions of pounds on.
The mentor was honest about the dangers of following a harmful ideology, and the message resonated with Charlie.
What, like Islam?
Charlie had been informed of the support they would receive from Prevent, including skills support and family sessions. With all these gentler interventions, Charlie was able to rebuild their confidence, find their identity, and continue their college course successfully.
I just can't help but think this should be illegal.
What is Prevent?
It's a waste of fucking money.
Prevent is a referral program operated by the Home Office in partnership with local services.
Yeah.
It was set up in 2003 as part of legislation responding to the 9/11 terror.
The 9/11 terrorist attack. Sorry, the 9/11 terrorist attack in the USA. That was the response to the terrorist attack. Tell Caucasian British kids they're bad.
terror attack in the USA. The overarching aim of Prevent is to stop violent extremism from happening within our communities. Prevent works on the basis that any ideology can be harmful, and therefore anyone can be at risk of becoming.
You didn't mention them. You didn't mention any of the other ideologies. Not one of them.
Radicalised. The programme seeks to identify cases of extremism before any violent acts are committed.
It might be that they wanted to cover Islam. It might be. They might just be pussies. That's always a possibility. They might just be pussies, the people that made this.
And it does so by addressing difficulties vulnerable individuals may be experiencing and helping them overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Prevent important?
It's not.
Prevent is an important part of the UK's counter-terrorism strategy because
It
it
isn't.
seeks to tackle extremist behaviour as it emerges
No, it
instead of
doesn't.
after an attack.
It's fucking
acknowledges
useless.
that underlying issues and vulnerabilities play a role in extreme ideas and behaviours and wants to reduce the effects that push someone into extremism. It's important because Prevent doesn't seek to punish people.
What's pushing people now into these extremisms? What are you saying? We shouldn't be talking about it? Turn a blind eye? Should we just sit at home and think, well, it wasn't my daughter. I'll be a good citizen and not look.
People who have fallen victim to radicalisation. It aims to reduce the risk of violence and enable vulnerable people to live a life without hate or violence. Who does Prevent
We're
support?
British.
Though it is rare, Prevent understands that any ideology has the potential to harm others if the right conditions are met. Prevent does not target any specific demographic, community or ideology.
I think it
and
did.
The support they offer is available to anyone who may be motivated by an ideology to behave in an extreme manner. This means that anyone could be referred to Prevent to receive.
Didn't discuss anyone doing anything extreme.
What is the process and how does Prevent work?
Fuck you, rabbit on.
Prevent will only come into contact with someone if they receive a referral either from them directly or from someone who has concerns. Referrals can come from a variety of places, such as parents, other family members or friends.
The teacher. The liberal, LGBT, empathetic, anti-white, anti-British teacher.
Teachers and health or social workers. Anyone can make a referral if they have concerns about radicalisation.
Mm-hmm.
The referral asks the person filling the form to include details about the individual's behaviour, beliefs and other contextual factors that might make them vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
The referral is then reviewed by a panel of experts from different fields to discuss if the person is at risk or not, and what kind of support would be most appropriate. Most referrals are not followed up by Prevent if support from other organisations is more appropriate. On the occasions where Prevent does take on a referral, the information is passed to channel.
How expensive is this getting? To there, to there, to there. Look at all these people employed and achieving nothing. Achieving nothing. Why in Hull? Is there a high rise of extremism there? High rise of terrorism? Not really. Why not Luton? Why not? Why not find Birmingham? Why not Telford?
Channels are the specialists in supplying support that is specific to radicalisation and ideologies. They work with the individual to reduce the risk of harm to that person and wider society. They take a multi-agency approach to providing support, so support could involve mentors, interactions with people who left harmful ideologies, family support, financial and housing support, counselling or therapy sessions, religious support and more. Receiving support from Prevent or Channel does not appear on a criminal record. Any
course it does, because you're no one. You're not even a real thing. You're just a waste of money. You're just people filling your pockets.
Involvement is always confidential and voluntary. Involvement with Prevent seeks to lead people away from behaviours that are against the law before they engage. It is designed not only to keep communities safe and peaceful, but to enable the individual at risk to live a fulfilling life without the risk of fines, arrests, or prison sentences.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, because that's the life we live in. It is designed not only to keep communities safe and peaceful, but to enable the individual at risk to live a fulfilling life without the risk of fines, arrests, or prison sentences. You should be allowed to say what you think, how you feel. You should be allowed to look at statistics. You should be allowed to engage with the world around you as it's happening, as everybody notices it, without the risk of fine, arrest, or prison. Why should these even be an option? Extreme behaviours. There was no call to violence at all in this, which, as far as I'm aware, is the only guidelines. No call to violence. Where do these come from?
Which may arise from extreme
What
behaviours.
bullshit is this? It's just trying to keep young people afraid. That's the plan here. Keep the young people afraid.
What is Prevent? Prevent is a referral.
Oh, done. Why does it exist? Because it's a fucking waste of money. It's people filling their pockets. Already said that. Been there. If you feel an act of violence is about to happen, it is important to let the police know. You can ask a trusted adult to make the call or dial 999 yourself. This is probably the only thing in this entire thing that makes sense. If you feel an act of violence is about to happen, call the police. Yeah. Only good bit of information in the whole thing. What a waste of money.
Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed my video, a like, follow, subscription and a share would be greatly appreciated and encourage me to make more.